Hello all, this is Zimnala coming at you with another adventure in my game showcase series. This is going to be a remake of my Hardspace Shipbreaker game showcase because I wanted to try out some new settings. I have upgraded my rig since I originally did a lot of my game showcases, and we're going to see how recording it at higher resolutions goes and give a better view of how it looks. I'm not going to delete my save file though, so what I am going to do is play it unlimited instead. So we're going to play an hour of this and see how that goes. So without further ado, let us get into it. So the game starts us off right in the middle of an application for becoming a corporate salvager in space. So I'll walk you through a little bit of this. Greetings, citizen LF2911805. Congratulations, you have been accepted into Lynx Corporation's Pioneering Pave the Way to the Galaxy program. Your selection was based on above-average physical and cognitive abilities. You are assigned to Salvage Station 42, designation Morrigan. Demonstrate the ability to build and grow a profitable operation, and a number of exciting opportunities await you. Remember, employment in this program is at the sole discretion of Lynx Corporation and can't be revoked at any time. Acts of malice or insubordination will not be tolerated. Upon signing this form, please proceed immediately to the nearest Lynx Corporation shuttle hub for transport to the worksite. Finalize the following pages to confirm employment. And now we're gonna end up inputting names and whatever we want to. And I'll tell you how much it costs to get spares and whatnot. And the main thing with this particular mode is if I die 30 times, the game is just done. Now, in my main playthrough, I actually only died 14 times, of which 3 times I died intentionally. So I could easily play through this on this and probably be just fine. I admittedly have a lot more experience than the first time I played through, so the chances of that happening are significantly less anyway, so yeah. Let us see if it will allow us to pick a wild name. Let us see if it will allow us to have profanity or anti. Oh, it won't let us go that far? Aww. Okay, then let's see what we can do. Let's see if it'll actually allow us to just be smartasses. Will you accept this? It accepted it. It told me it wouldn't. Smartass it is. We, of course, are going to be entomatarian. So yeah, you choose which sound settings you want, of which there are 4. You choose whether you want your controls to be inverted or standard, and then you choose which type of food you like the most. It doesn't make a difference, but you have your chicken, you have your plastic-free options, you have your vegetables, and you have, of course, all your space bugs, and who doesn't like space bugs? They're the best. So then you go through and you have to check all of these off, starting with I have no criminal record in the Terran or Martian zones. A record in the Jovian frontier is acceptable, of course. I'm wanted in 3 counties around the moons of Titan and whatnot. I am not a member of and have never associated with a workers' union or other labor interest, of course. I have completed my annual medical exam and have been cleared of having Makulo's lung. You can't prove that I have his lungs. I have no commercial or real estate interests on Luna, in the asteroid belt, or in the nation state of Arizona that you can prove. I will bring a positive attitude and problem-solving mindset to work every day, and then immediately throw it in the trash. I understand and accept the health risks associated with long-term exposure to a van der Waals field. Yeah, they're great. And I will vote for Chancellor Chun Jing in the Pan American Senate election. Sure, why not? I'm sure he's a good guy. And there is a huge, long terms and conditions that we could go through and spend my time on. And I will just slowly scroll down, so if anyone wants to actually stop and read it, they can. I read it out on my first game showcase and extended it, but, you know, this time I'm probably not going to do that. There is some mildly funny stuff in here, but it's nothing too exciting. It's nothing like the contract for Helldivers 2 or anything like that. Now that's a work of art. This is just a bunch of evil corporate nonsense, which is our favorite kind of nonsense, correct? Who doesn't like to go to space to be exploited? But yes, I'm just gonna keep slowly scrolling in case anyone wants to do that. Of course, if you didn't want to see this, you would have skipped ahead past it. I'm not going to skip training because that is part of the process, but enjoy the opening cutscene.
Each day he steps into the yard to earn his wages working hard. I pray to the stars and heaven above to return my daddy to those he loves. If there comes a time when he and death meet, bless the next cutter that takes his seat.
Hello, Cutter 9346-52. Your automated Lynx onboarding experience will now begin. Please observe this important message.
Space. Boundless promise. Limitless resources. A brighter future. It's here where hard workers like you, the backbone of civilization, will help us pave the way to the galaxy. I'm Calicia Rye Paulson, president of Lynx Corporation's Salvage Division. When my great-great-grandfather Exeter founded Lynx, he foresaw a remarkable opportunity among the stars. His vision eventually brought us the railgates. Now spanning all the way to Jupiter, these are the veins connecting all of modern civilization. And the people flowing through them are its lifeblood. The railgates reinvigorated humanity and are key to our continued progress. You've been selected from among thousands of candidates to join the Lynx family. This is more than just a job. It's an opportunity to be part of the largest, most successful, and most pioneering company in human history. Your dream may be to forge your own destiny one day. Well, work hard, heed your superiors, believe in the Lynx vision. Do this, and you too will get your chance. Your first step is to join our Ever Work program, the greatest gift we give our employees, turning death into an ongoing opportunity for learning and growth. With Lynx, death is a fresh start. Good luck.
We're going to need it. Do we want a fresh start? Well, let's just say that, this is quite a jump into adventure.
Video observation complete. To finalize onboarding, your genetic sequence will now be extracted for use with the Lynx EverWork Asset Replacement Program. Don't worry, pain levels during extraction are largely tolerable. Please note, as outlined in Section 31 of your employment agreement, the process of genetic extraction will destroy your original body. Beginning extraction now. Extraction analysis and backup complete.
They may have just murdered
Beginning
us.
spare generation.
You know, just a little bit. Well, this may end up being a full playthrough at some point. This is technically a harder setting, so I was probably going to play it at some stage. I did really enjoy my adventures in this as well. But my main goal here was to show the game in a higher definition. So look at all these beautiful fees that they gave us just to get set in. Isn't this going to be amazing? We are going to head out here for our training.
Breathe. You're okay. Everything's gonna be just fine. There you go. Plenty of folks feel a bit woozy with the first spare. Anyway,
We have to wait for them to
welcome
catch up.
aboard. The name's Weaver. I'm the foreman for yourself and a couple of other shipbreakers in this region. This here's Morrigan Station. She may not look like much right now, but once we boot her up, she'll purr like a kitten. All right, let's test out your orientation control. Do me a favor and look up at that cargo elevator up above.
Okay, so they want us to look up here.
So that's where all the salvage gets collected to be picked up by the transfer crew. Just in case you ever turn yourself out of whack, use your roll thrusters to reorient.
Woo, such roll.
All right.
They're very excited by us
Now
doing
let's
that.
get you flying. Activating your thruster controls now. Try moving around. Now vertical control. Looks good. Now, to finalize these movement checks, I need you to fly to these waypoints.
Okay, so now we have to go fly through a few waypoints.
Used to be a cutter myself, you know. Till there was some complications with my last revive. Those were early days in the tech, though, so never you mind about that. Oh, almost forgot the most important thing. Brakes. Get yourself going at a decent clip, and then test them out, why don't you? All right. Looks like the bay here was left in a bit of a mess. We're gonna clean this crap up. I'm gonna activate the furnaces. Now. Dang thing. Would you just...
Yeah, we'll finish the tutorial pretty quick.
So these furnaces are used to melt down soft metals. Should go without saying. These things are hot as all get out. So, try not to drift into them by accident. Okay, let's get a handle on your grapple tool. This fella here is a shipbreaker's bread and butter. This is how we move salvage around. Activate the beam and hold it to grab an object and move it around, if it's not too heavy.
That's how you do it. I think we actually have to wait for them to get that.
So, when you're holding an object with the grapple, you can retract the beam. This will pull a light object to you. If it's heavier than you, it'll pull you towards it. Nice job cleaning up that soft metal scrap cutter. Let's move on to the bigger nanocarbon chunks now, shall we? You may have already noticed that these are too heavy to move with your grapple. I'm enabling your scanner so we can check out their structural makeup. Go ahead and boot it up. This mode of your scanner lets you assess an object's structure. What I want you to focus on right now are these cut points. All right. Controls give me the go-ahead to get you cutting. You got quick access to all your tools through your HUD. Just open up your tool selector and choose the cutting tool. The cutting tool has two modes. The first one is the stinger. It's designed for precision vaporization of cut points like this. You ready to perform some zero-G surgery, Cutter?
I absolutely
Well,
am
let's
ready
split
to
this
perform
strap so it's light
surgery.
enough to move. That's how you do it. Okay, let me boot up the processor so you can salvage these.
Yep, so these
do me
other
a favor.
bays are the
Look
ones
on
that
over
you
at one of them
do
there.
these ones
Yeah,
in.
so I can see if they activate right. Yeah, perfect. Wish me luck here, Cutter.
Yeah, the furnace
Clean
is for the
technology.
soft metals
Clean,
like aluminum.
always the best of friends. Hey!
This is for
alright.
most of the other stuff,
We're in
the more
business.
expensive things.
Now swap over to your grapple and toss one of those pieces you separated right in there. Well, okay. We're almost done getting this bay in shape. Let's go after that large aluminum chunk over there.
Yep, they're gonna want us to deal with this
Now,
too.
this beast is way too heavy to move as is. It's also too dense for your stinger to break it down.
Mm-hmm.
And there are no structural cut points for us to take advantage of. We're gonna have to switch over to the split saw mode of your cutting tool, start slicing this thing down to size. Go ahead and switch cut modes now.
Processing object. Applying credits to account.
Now try changing the angle of the cut.
Yep,
We're
so we're
in
gonna do
business.
this.
I've unlocked the trigger on your cutting tool. It'll
So-
split that big chunk clean in
This
two.
is used for slicing
Go ahead
things
and
in
give her a whirl.
pieces.
I'm gonna turn on your salvage indicator.
It's also
so you can track
faster
how much work
than the
there
other
is
one.
left to do. This thing will track how much you've salvaged and how much you've lost. For now, let's try and hit that first goal marker. And that's what it's all about, Cutter. The more salvage goals you complete, the closer you'll get to hitting your certifications and ranking up.
I mean, this should just work. I don't need to do much more.
Deposit accepted.
Great first shift in the yard, Cutter. Let's head on over to your hab and I'll show you the ropes there. Fly on over back to the master jack. I'll put a marker on it so you can find it easy. When you get there, head on in and we'll get started.
So there's a decent chance, like I said, that this will end up being a full playthrough. It just probably won't be as quick as my original one was, because like I have played through it fully almost 2 whole times now. Although one of them I did just on my own recognizance. I was just playing around with some things, you know. Mostly I was checking out like how the controller controls were. And they're not too bad, but I actually still prefer the PC ones.
Certification level achieved. License upgraded.
So we got a new certification. You don't start getting upgrades to your tools until level 4. But the first few are all going to be tutorials of various kinds.
Hello, Shipbreaker. You have 1 incoming transmission waiting.
This game has a lot of like story, like mandatory chats.
Welcome to your new home, Cutter. There's everything you need. This is officially called a ready-made long-term employee habitation something or other. Around here, we just call it your hab. Now, how's about you get yourself some rest? We'll pick up your training in the morning. Sleep tight there, Cutter.
Good morning, Shipbreaker. This is your daily wake-up call.
So they're telling us about a bunch of new emails that we got, of which we're gonna have to answer one anyway.
Rise and shine, Cutter. Hope you feel well rested. Ready to continue your training? Okay, let's have a look at your employee terminal. Now, let's get caught up on career progression and certification. I've sent you a message with an explanation. Go on and give it a read. Clear as mud? Don't worry, I'm here to walk you through the process. Soon enough, I'm going to introduce you to some of the other shipbreakers. Most of them are willing to help you out, too. All right, let's start a new shift and pick your first ship to work on.
So I've already read all of these on my original playthrough, but I will pull them in here and scroll through them for anyone that wants to pause and read them. Most of these are just things that they've already told you. And a lot of it is also corporate jargon. They do also tell you about new ships that you've unlocked, and these ones I might comment on. So the first ships you get are a mackerel light cargo and station hopper models. So you start off with 2 ship types that you can choose from. There is a lot of lore in these, which is cool. Because this game, they did put in a lot of really cool lore. So if those fees that we saw originally seemed outrageous to you, they're actually, if you work it out, the proper amount of inflation that would be the case by this year at current rates. So the amount that we actually owe is approximately $7 million as it would be right now. if I remember
This
my
shows which
math.
ships you have access to. Each morning, you can choose to continue working on the ship you got, or start a fresh one. Go ahead and claim one, and we'll get to work.
So these are actually pretty similar to each other. The main difference is that the light cargo I think could have like some rarer stuff inside the cargo hold, whereas the station hopper would, if it was fully equipped with stuff, which isn't the case in the beginning, would have some more chairs and like technical equipment to drop down. So yeah, we're gonna do more cargos than station hoppers because the stuff in them's usually more interesting. But as you can see, they're very slightly differently shaped, but the value is pretty much the same. But the other thing is that the light cargo sometimes has better repair kits. Hello there. How are you doing?
She's all yours, Cutter. Your primary goal is to reach rank 3. Now try to remember, nanocarbon goes in the processor. Aluminum goes in the furnace. Try to salvage the entire ship if you can. We call it using the whole buffalo. You'll hit your certs faster that way and start knocking out that debt of yours. I'll be observing and giving you any help if you need it. Good luck, Cutter. Weaver out.
So this is my second role playthrough. There's a few ways to get in here, so you do always want to go in with your thing to see if it's pressurized, but in the beginning, none of them are pressurized. The easiest way to get into these is to cut the cockpit open, but you want to make sure it's already not pressurized. And yeah, I'm glad that you are enjoying the stream so far. I'm actually doing a showcase of this game for people. I have a YouTube channel where I play through the first bit of a game and show it off for people to just see what like the beginning of a game is like, so they can have an idea if they like the presentation. This is a bit of a remake of my game showcase. I have since upgraded my rig, and so I can do it at better resolutions. So we're going to
Material deposited.
sort this out pretty easily. I'm used to much more complicated ships, so this should probably only take us maybe like 15-20 minutes, is my guess. There's nearly nothing dangerous in the first one.
Deposit accepted for processing.
These are pretty easily cut apart by just going in through the front and just cutting all of these points. It'll cut the sides away, and then you just throw them in the proper channels. Once there starts being more technical stuff in here, it gets a lot more complicated. But we don't currently have to worry about that. So we could just go through step by step and just peel these away and just knock it away into there. I might also need to change the sensitivity a bit. Seems to be a bit more sensitive than I
I
remember.
know these ships look intimidating to scrap at first. Trust me, soon enough, you'll be stripping the huge Gecko-class freighters like nothing. Got my start, salvaging back down Earthside, in the droid scrapping biz. You know what made me come up here? One day, we got a batch of this particular model in, one of them kinds with synthetic skin and everything. We almost never saw people-looking ones like that. They're always too expensive to manufacture. Seems someone found a warehouse full of them, mothballed for, 20 years or so, since the AI ban took effect. probably bought the whole lot for pennies, thinking they could turn a tidy profit with the salvage. No word of a lie. These things looked exactly like my stepbrother Jed. He even had the same slack-jawed expression. Now, Jed and I wasn't exactly pals or nothing, but all the same, I couldn't bring myself to start smashing that dopey face. And that's when I looked into getting on with Lynx. I tell you what, it's a sight better to cut up something that doesn't look like a family relation. Anyway, I'm running on. I'll clear the channel. Holler if there's anything giving you grief up there, Cutter. Weaver out.
Yeah, I'm gonna try not to talk over their jibber jabber. It's all story stuff is what it is. A lot of it is not really all that necessary to listen to, but it is cool that they put a lot of story into this. They put a lot more story than I expected them to, at least. So I was mildly surprised by that. Pleasantly, actually. This is actually one of the my favorite games that I actually started this year. I only got it fairly recently, although it's been out for a decent amount of time. Admittedly, I don't tend to play the newest games. I prefer older games for the most part. I usually feel like they've got more heart, but... Oh, actually, I didn't mean to switch.
Object accepted for processing. Credits deposited.
But there are exceptions. This is actually more on the newer side than I usually go for. So yeah, so that's all of like the sides of this thing done. Now we just got to go inside and like separate the top and the bottom sections, and the whole front compartment can be separated. Now you probably want to switch to the other one for this, because it's real easy to cut up the sides of this, which there are reasons why you might want to do that, but you should do it intentionally, not unintentionally, in my opinion. You lose value when you do it, and it can make it complicated to move. But yeah, essentially this game is a giant puzzle game. And the idea is, at first is just how do you take it apart, because at this stage it's not really dangerous to take things apart, it's just a more of a how do you do it. But as the game progresses, they put actual hazards into it, and you have to figure out ways to take it apart safely, because otherwise it could very well explode. I will with full disclosure admit that sometimes it just explodes on its own, so there's a reason why these ships are abandoned. Let's just put it that way. They're not always the safest. And they're not usually left in the safest condition either, so you kind of have to assess that on the fly. Yeah, your tools can overheat, so you should keep an eye on that. It does show up in a corner, like how hot it is. Now the other one, the cutting one that goes across, doesn't really overheat.
Valuable object
So you don't have to worry about it with that mode, but you do have to be careful, like I said, of not cutting more than you want to. That's all. Like, it's just you choose the risk you want. Do you want to have an easier time cutting, or do you want it to be precise? Like, oh, I might have knocked something into the wrong one. There might have been a panel that was actually aluminum. But you can actually lose a little bit of the ship, and it's not a problem, as that meter at the top of it is the value of it. And as long as you harvest enough in the right spot, you will get them along the way. Like, you only have to get, I think, about 90% of it to get all the marks.
Processing
Although maybe it's closer to 85.
transferred.
Like, you'll see when we get done how
Rewards will be paid.
close we get. We're probably only gonna lose that one chunk. But yeah, once you actually have to start cutting, like, sections off, you're gonna actually always lose a little bit. So don't get too hung up on perfectly fixing it. Because that might never actually happen. And so yeah, I'm probably only going to cut it into as many pieces as I have to. I'm not going to
Deposit accepted
cut
or
it
processed.
into more because it's a bit of a waste. This one I might have to cut up. I think this one is in fact too heavy.
Rewards allocated.
So then I will show you how that works. But for now we're okay. Like this other section, I think we can move. Okay, so then we got to consider how we want to separate this. So there's a couple ways you could do it. You could cut it down the middle. That is an option. Another way that I prefer to do it is I cut these right here.
Credits transferred.
Like this. And we just cut it in half along the middle. And I believe both sides of these are movable now. It's a little unwieldy, but it can be done. And that's not how I first cut it, to be honest. Like, but this is the kind of thing you learn after a few playthroughs. So, but there's no right or wrong way as long as you actually make it work. There's as many ways to cut as you want to try. And you do get a lot of cool toys later that make it easier and faster.
Material deposited. Account credit applied.
And that should do it. Oh, I actually had a little bit left over.
Rewards maximized.
We can toss those in. I guess we didn't actually break all the ones we cut. Come on, we can get it. A little hard to grab. I do have the sensitivity a little high, like I said. I will sort that out once we're back in the hab. I didn't want to interrupt the mission itself for it. Oh yeah, I want us to just go inside. Alright, there we go. We had a pretty successful run. We got 97.9% of it sorted. We did lose 1.4% to that incorrectly tossed piece, and we got 7% of it that wasn't harvested because we had to cut it. So that's what we ended up with.
New certification level attained. License level increased.
So we've reached a new rank.
Hello, Shipbreaker 9346-52.
You get stickers for doing certain requirements.
Make the most of your shift by fanning the tiny
Like this one,
sparks
for
of
instance,
effort
was for
into
only
flames of
getting 95%
profitability.
of the ship.
Looking good, Cutter. Now go ahead and pick another ship.
Let's see if we got anything new in here. We did get 3 new messages. I will show these. We did unlock a new ship, the Heavy Cargo, which is the one we are probably going to do. This can have even crazier things than the other one does, although I don't know if they actually put them in at our hazard level. I think you have to go through a couple stages before you get all the things added to your ships to even harvest. It's a little harder to manage. I think the hull is heavier, so it's a little more difficult to move. But we'll find out. So it's saying that we have unlocked the hazard level for fire hazards, you know? So we might have fuel tanks, or we might have other things that could explode. There's more than one thing that can explode. But we're going to choose this in here. We're going to head on out here. And then I'm going to change my settings for a couple seconds. Just so I can get the sensitivity sorted for us, so we don't have me jerking around nearly as much. We're going to go down about 10%. I think that will end up being good. And now we're going to get back into it. We save it, and back into the fray we go.
Hold up a second there, Cutter. Because you've increased your rank, we're going to give you the next grade of ship. Now this one will be full of machinery, electronics, furniture, all stuff that Lynx can collect and resell. You're going to want to throw those items on the barge. That's the big green thing below you. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's
have a
down
look.
here.
Toss any valuable objects or components down there. Don't worry about breaking anything. There's a dampening field that'll catch everything. Works great. Most of the time. Let's give it a go.
So do you see this right here? This right here is one of the fire hazards that we had. So if you hold on to something and it has a meter right there, it starts detaching. But otherwise, as long as you don't bang it against stuff, it should be pretty safe. Do not cut near it though, unless you want to have a nice explosive time. I mean, it's pretty likely I will eventually explode something. But I'm not going to intentionally do it, most likely. Yeah, so this thing is not pressured. It shows as red now. That means that it's not pressurized. If it shows as green, it means it has pressure in it. So you have to work with caution. But this heavier mackerel has more armor on the outside like this. But if you cut all the supports like that, it is fully detachable. And then you basically get into it the same way as before. There are some other things you can salvage on the outside too, though, like these antennas go in here. The sensitivity is still a little high, but it's not as much as before.
Account credited. Processing valuable deposit.
Oh, did I?
Credits transferred.
I guess there was a second piece to it that we separated. That's okay. But just like the last one... Oh, there's actually another antenna. I'll grab that. So I don't accidentally send it with the armor pieces.
Now, let me teach you about the kiosk. Once the training wheels come off, Lynx regulations mean you gotta cover your own oxygen and fuel costs. That's the way things go. Turning it on now. Now, no need to panic. They'll last you a good while. But if you end up running out, you gotta top up at the kiosk over there. Let's have a look.
Yeah, but otherwise, the way you pop the front of this open is pretty much the same thing, and I think we've already done it. Let's see. Yep, as long as you've got this detached, then the rest of it should come apart too.
Raw material deposited.
Now this version of the ship is going to have more machinery in it because of our hazard level increase. But not everything's going to be in it from what it will be in the end.
Accepted for processing.
They want us to go back and check out the kiosk, but you don't actually have to do that until the end. So if you do, you'll start having like your ticking down of like your oxygen and whatnot. Well, we don't really need that, so we're not going to bother. You'll get plenty of that when you're playing the game. You don't need to rush it. Like these weren't here before. These are the nacelles on the side. Let's go down to the barge. This heavier one has these heavier armor pieces on the outside too. As long as you're cutting near the hull and you can't cut it. Yeah. Did I detach that? I might have detached it. There we go. It's not that heavy. It's a little unwieldy. But you probably want to detach it early on before you upgrade your grapple, because otherwise it might make the pieces heavier to move.
Valuable object processed. Credits awarded.
Yeah, for the first couple missions you can't actually upgrade that sort of thing, so...
Salvage deposit accepted.
I'm showing techniques that can be done without any upgrades. Yeah, if you want to grab it on the structural part, or the pieces will actually separate. which isn't the biggest problem, but it does make it so you have to move it in more than one stage at that stage. There's a cargo hatch on the top right here that can be separated.
Valuable object accepted for processing.
It is fairly valuable, so you do want to put it in the right place. Yeah, but other than that, you can go in and start going into the sides, but there might be some notable differences that we'll look at once we get in here. Like the number one of which is all the way here in the back, there is in fact a fuel tank. You are going to want to be careful with this. You can detach it like I did with the other one. As long as you're pretty careful, it's not a big danger. Just don't cut next to it. So like I'm gonna cut these and then I'm gonna drag it away from that last one. And then we'll be okay. Now there are also lights attached to these that you can detach. They're not worth a lot, but they are worth a little bit. So yeah, we pulled it towards us a little bit, and now this side is safe to cut. Now it's only cutting that's dangerous. You can grapple all you want all day long, as long as you're not smashing into the piece, you know? Like, yeah, just like we detached the fuel line, you could easily just do that and toss that out and then knock it away. But you don't actually have to detach the lights to get a good score, so it's really your call if you want to. But yeah, this one will probably take about 20-30 minutes too, and that'll probably do it for this showcase. Yeah, so another thing I'm doing is I'm holding down the brake button so that I don't get pulled, because this is actually reasonably heavy, so if I try to pull it towards me, it's going to move me too. But yeah, no, you just want to move it out of there slowly and carefully like that, and then just knock it into there. And it's gone nice and safely. And just like the first macro we did, you just knock them off and away. And it's easy peasy. But you'll see more little pieces as we go along.
Salvage deposit secured.
Oh, that's the thing we can't these will be important later, these little bits, but we can't do anything with them right now. I probably should have mentioned that on the first ship. You will see them floating around, and they will be important later. But don't get stressed if you can't do anything about them early on. They don't really explain that,
Applying credits to account.
which is a little unfortunate. There are things that you can collect in the ships too, like this right here is a kit that you can use later. But there's lots of machinery and bits and bobs floating in here, because this, like I said, this is the heavy cargo, so we can have all sorts of random nonsense in it.
Salvage accepted.
Like this right here is an asteroid shard. This right here gets tossed into the furnace.
Valuable object processed.
But that's just a random bit of nonsense in this cargo hold.
Salvage goal obtained. Additional rewards assigned.
But if you don't do these cargo ships, you actually will never find asteroid shards, and they are a requirement for stickers. But they're not in every single cargo ship. You kind of gotta do a few of them to find them.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited. Applying credit. Salvage deposit secured. Credits awarded.
There we go, that should sort those out. Yeah, no, we can separate this by cutting this off. Like, this is just a cut point, it's not of any value. But this goes
Material
into that.
Deposit accepted.
As you can see, we've got another fuel line on the other side, so we do have to be a little bit careful with this. Do that, we just go through the other side again. Like, the middle is much easier to handle once you actually sort through the sides. Now, this is an airlock, and this was not in the first ship. It's fairly valuable, you have to be careful not to cut it. Later on, we'll have to worry about whether it's pressurized too. But for now, we can just cut it off. Like, it has 3 connection points on the top and the bottom. Yeah, you can use this cutter as long as you make sure the surfaces you're aiming at aren't going to get cut. Like, the hull is not cuttable by this tool. So I don't have to worry about that. Just like before, I just pull it away from the wall. Get on in here. It is safe now. Yeah, we separated this, so it should be fine. There was... Hello there. Yep, and the airlock goes down here. I'm doing pretty good, just enjoying some Hardspace Shipbreaker. It's a nice, relaxing little puzzle game. Yep, and just like the first ship, the top and part sections just get tossed right in after you detach everything. It's kind of like if you just had the gravity gun sections of Half-Life
Object accepted for processing.
2, and you just were in space. Without any combat. There's no combat, unless you consider fighting against your oxygen limits combat. Well, I'm glad to see that you're enjoying it. It's actually a pretty fun game. It's not usually high intensity, but when you get to the reactors, you do have time limits. If you pull it wrong, you'll be exploded pretty good. Let's knock this in the right angle.
Credits transferred.
Oh, that went at a little bit of a weird angle. Well, we can probably just drag it away and deal with it. It's a little difficult until you upgrade your grapple beam, but it's not too bad on these first ships.
Processing valuable object. Credits awarded.
Yeah, I play a few other games. It's nothing consistently, like But I do usually cycle between like 3 or 4 games at a time, and I tend to show off games that I like at least an hour of every now and then, and that's a case of this. I've already played through this game twice recently, so I'm showcasing off the first like hour or so of the gameplay. And then I'll upload the video of that to YouTube for people to look at whenever they want to.
Rewards allocated.
Okay, yeah, we can't cut that, which is good. Oh. I like to see, that's an example of me cutting things I didn't necessarily want to, but that's not going to be a problem. Like, I think we lost, like, what, like, not even 1% of value. You have to be a little careful when you're cutting things like that. Oh, gotta be careful of pushing yourself, too. So this right here might be heavier than I thought. Oh, I didn't detach it. That's the problem. See? There we go. That'll make a difference. Yeah, see, if it's blue, it's safe to push. Or at least it won't knock you away. But yeah, no, I've got several types of games. I really like dungeon crawler games. I was playing some modded Diablo a couple days ago. And I'll probably play more of that in the future. I like to play like really old school games as well. But I guess you could say I'm a variety streamer. I like incremental games. That's probably the biggest thing I've been liking coming out recently. They're one of those genres that hasn't really disappointed me. They're always enjoyable for like 5 hours or so. And then by the time you start getting bored of them, they're over. So. Yeah, just like the first ship, we can pretty much just take the top and bottom and take care of that. And then we might have to, we're probably gonna have to cut this one up again, just like the first one. I think it's probably gonna be too heavy still. And there are like little red lights you can see right here. You could take all those off and toss them into the barge too. They're not worth the most, like I said before, but they have some value if you want to do it. There's no wrong way to play this. You can perfectly finally get all of the salvage goals without it. So if you like getting all as much of it as you can pull them off. If you don't care about that, you can just forget about it too. Like, the game will not punish you for it at all. Yeah, it's now light enough that it's spinning. I'm from New England.
Object accepted for processing.
Or at least I live in New England currently. I guess from's a little relative. Yep, and we detached the front section. Now there was actually some machinery in here that we could pull out that's of value. So we've got a chair, the cockpit chair. Toss that in. We've got some lights. See if I can grab them.
Salvage deposit registered. Account credited.
I actually grabbed the storage bin behind it, which is fine. It's more valuable anyway. We would have had to do that. There's another salvage bin behind
Deposit
it.
confirmed. Applying credit.
It's probably light enough that we're gonna move it around as we do this a little bit too. It's just a good idea to maintain a good angle for whatever you want to pull out. You don't really want to drag stuff against the hull too much. It'll make it move more. You'll have to like stabilize it if you don't want to
Transferring credits.
break stuff, because sometimes you're pulling out machinery that can explode.
Salvage deposited. Applying credit to account.
I think we got all the goodies out of it. Let's do a quick little peek. Peek.
Salvage
Doesn't
secured.
look like I see
Credits
anything.
deposited.
Alright, can we detach it fully? Yep, just toss it that way. That should be all sorted. If it doesn't go in, we just have to grab it again and make sure it spins again. Okay, so then we can come back over here. Grab anything else we want to grab off. There was the other light. Knew I was missing it.
Raw material accepted.
I see we kind of entangled one of the tops or bottom pieces with it, but we can probably sort that out easily enough. Just make it drift a little bit, and then it is manageable. There we go. Alright, let's see. Is this thing too heavy to move? Oh, I didn't detach this one all the way. There's a couple pieces right
Object
here.
processed. Transferring credits.
Oh. Well, I didn't expect you to be... Oh, this is the edge of the airlock, actually. That's why that goes in there. I guess it detached when we separated it. Is this too heavy? No, actually, this one's lighter than the other model. I don't even have to cut this. It's going to be a little unwieldy to move, but as long as you can grab it and it's blue, you can push it without it knocking you around.
Processing object. Applying credits to account.
And that's the only requirement for getting it in there easily. I think we got everything else. Now you can switch to this mode and you can kind of look around to see if there's anything that you missed, but I think we got everything.
Material accepted. Credits assigned.
Yeah, there's doors that you can't really get out. They're in the frame. You have to cut it apart to get to it, but you lose more value for doing that than you get out of it. Now it's saying I'm missing part of it. Just gonna double check to make sure that this all went in to where it was supposed to go. Now see, there's a fuel tank that didn't actually go all the way in. You might have to double check these things. See, that went in and we got the rest of our value.
Salvage deposit accepted.
So if you're missing value, just make sure everything went into like the barge. Because that's the most likely place that it didn't go all the way in. Now we're going to go over here to the kiosk like it wanted.
Welcome to Vendatron 9000. Good stuff, Cutter. Pretty easy, right? All right, I'll leave you to it. We'll chat again when you've hit the next rank. Weaver out.
Yeah, that's the place where you buy, like I'll go back and look at it for you guys. This right here is where you buy more oxygen. You buy more a med kit if you're injured. You get a suit patch kit if you've broken your helmet. Thruster fuel if you're having low fuel, which you use up by flying around. Tool repair kits, you will use them for fixing your tools inside of the hab. You can't use them on the field here, but you need to have some. But you'll get them as rewards for your mission, so you should already have some. Tethers and demo charges are refills of tools we don't have yet. We don't have to worry about it, and they'll tell us about it when we get there. The costs on them doesn't matter. It not much at all. Like, you'll notice that we get like 5 million right here. Those refill costs were like 20,000 and whatnot, so it's really not a real problem. It's more like just so you don't think you're getting it for free. It's like flavor for the game. Like, nothing is free for you, you know? But as you can see, we got 99.6% of this. So it's not too difficult to get almost all of it if you're careful.
New certification level has been achieved. License level increased.
But yes, we'll get in there. We'll listen to what they say to us. I think they're gonna give us some more story beats, and then I'm gonna call it an end on this little like showcase. But I'll probably be back to continue this as a full playthrough in the future.
Good morning, Cutter.
That's an interesting question. So I started streaming about 6 months ago. I have since updated my rig once. Not specifically for streaming, though. It was more like I had a RAM issue and I had to update that. Like, it was just dying. Like, my RAM corrupted. But I upgraded my GPU and my RAM and got things a little better. But it wasn't for streaming, unfortunately. And this is more of a side hobby, you know? So we unlocked the research version of the mackerel for this research level. We're going to start having electrical hazards in the future. It's a little bit more valuable than the previous ship. The only thing it doesn't have is you won't get those asteroid chunks. So there are certain stickers that want you to get, like, say, 15 asteroids. So it's your call if you want to check these out or which ones you want to do. You need quite a few asteroid chunks to get those stickers, so if you're a collector, that might be what you want to get, but there's no right or wrong way to play this. It doesn't cut you off at any point. You can play it forever. It doesn't have a limit. We are now on hazard level 3, and they're going to tell us electrical hazards. You get charged each day for a number of things. None of it really matters as long as you go out there and play. They'll never take away your stuff. You get these link tokens for upgrades, for meeting the salvage goals, and yeah, and now we're done with the tutorial.
Hey, Cutter. I'm looking at the stats coming from your bay, and it's looking like you're really gonna make your way around here. It's time to learn about how to upgrade your equipment. Some of the more advanced tools you'll soon have at your disposal. Head on over to your workbench in the equipment room and we'll see about upgrading your tools.
Yep. We're not going to actually do that, but we're going to instead call it here. I hope you've enjoyed this game showcase. I will continue this on my own for a future playthrough again. This is the harder mode of this. So I only have 30 lives to play with, but I don't see us actually having a problem with that. But yes, I will be signing off on this Recording now. Bye-bye, y'all.